podcast.
Is this the end of our civilization?
Prepare for gaming domination.
The mightiest monster of them all.
Grimlock the Dino 9, GameZilla.
Look, there comes one of them now.
Welcome to the GameZilla podcast, your last line of defense in major gaming news. I'm your host, Grimlock the Dino, and with me in the GameZilla Media Studios, my producer, the Deadite Knight.
I am on death's door.
You are sick.
And I'm still here.
Shh, quiet. Okay, and my video producer, Player One, Mickey.
What's going on, guys?
He's muted.
He's not muted. He's just bad at talking into the microphone.
I said what's going on, guys.
There it is. That's
There we
better.
go.
Yeah, use your adult voice, Miggy.
Oh, I see. I got to
Say it with your chest.
I got to use my Barry White voice.
Okay,
Yeah.
give me a different voice now.
Quicker, man.
I'm sorry, I'm not used to doing under pressure.
I like it. Perfect. All right. Yeah. All right. Yeah, and like I said, we weren't kidding. Deadite is actually under the weather here, so we're gonna get moving here.
I'm
and
so
try
far
to
into the
get
weather, I'm in a puddle.
Yeah, we're gonna try to get you home here and rested and away from us. So, anyways, episode 290 of the GameZilla podcast brought to you by
Our supporters at patreon.com/GameZilla Media. Go to that website and start your patronage today and help pay for my drastically needed cold medicine to keep me from dying.
Don't lie to people. You don't even go to the doctor. You have like some of the best health care in the world, and you don't go to the doctor.
Because doctors are a scam.
There it is. I knew it was coming.
You know it's not a scam. All the great benefits you get from becoming a patron at patreon.com/GameZilla Media. At the $5 exclusive access tier, you'll be able to listen to podcasts from all the great shows on the GameZilla Media Network that aren't available anywhere else. They're not on Spotify or iTunes or Stitcher or any of the other great places that you listen to. GameZilla, Legend of Retro, Noobs and Dragons, Noiseland Arcade, and of course, The Last Action Podcast. All great shows. They all have exclusive episodes available only. Patreon.com/GameZilla Media. Go there, start your patronage today, and it starts at as low as $1 per month. And I did all of that without coughing, but I pressed the wrong button. There's my cough. All right, I meant to hit the coin. I hit the one. I'm all hopped up on NyQuil, so.
All right. Well, thank you for that lovely plug. We
Yeah.
yeah. Dear Lord, please let me get out of this without getting sick. Anyways,
Have you read tuberculosis? I've had it 3 times.
today.
That was diarrhea I had 3 times today. Too much vitamin C.
Oh man. Oh, this is already off the tracks here. Anyways, let's get into the news. Have you got the news button ready yet?
I probably
All
won't
right.
hit the right one.
We got some topics for you. Here we go.
I'm searching the web for the latest gaming news. Searching GameZillaMedia.com. Downloading headlines.
Alexander, what about this monster story of yours?
Download complete.
Topic number 1. PlayStation is no longer interested in making handheld consoles.
Why?
Well, good, because the consumer market is no longer interested in buying them.
That's the topic. We're moving on. You pretty much nailed it. Mobile gaming is too strong. Sony has confirmed that it doesn't consider itself to be in the business of making handheld video games consoles anymore. That means we shouldn't expect a follow-up to the PSP or the PlayStation Vita anytime soon, if ever. President and CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment, Jim Ryan, recently spoke to Game Informer. There you go. There's a reputable source.
Absolutely. There's no bias there.
For a feature that looks back on the 25-year history of PlayStation consoles. As part of this, he remembered the PlayStation Vita and confirmed that there were no plans for any more PlayStation consoles like it in the future. PlayStation Vita was brilliant in many ways, and the actual gaming experience was great, but clearly it's a business that we're no longer in now, Ryan said. Let me explain something to you, Jim Ryan. You're not in the business anymore because you fucked it all up. You had the best handheld system out there, and you couldn't even make a video game for it. You had to hope to God that ports and third-party support was going to carry your ass through because you couldn't even get your first-party development team to make something that was worth two shits on your system.
That's true. Also, at least in the United States, you cannot support a system on just ports of JRPGs.
Yeah, but here's where it gets better, okay?
I feel like that comment probably just offended Mickey.
Here's where it gets better.
I'm good.
Here's where it gets better, okay? A former CEO of Sony
And
Computer
Magnetbox.
Entertainment America spoke to IGN and said, now that I don't work there anymore, I think internally it was, quote, this is a great machine. It's just too late. The world has shifted to portable devices that aren't dedicated gaming machines. Are you all fucking stupid? I'm sorry. I'm in a bad mood today, okay? I've had a day. And I'm feeling like I'm about to have a week. A real shitty week. And I'm reading this article because, first of all, I had a bad day, so I didn't really get to pick the news topics like I normally do. I'm reading this and going, wait a minute. Am I confused, or is the Nintendo Switch hugely successful right now and it's a handheld device?
Yeah, I think that's true about the
I think
Switch.
it's true.
It is a handheld device.
So as far as, everything shifted to portable devices, a.k.a. mobile gaming, Miggy, and dedicated gaming machines aren't popular anymore. No, it's just yours. Because you just can't seem to get your head out of your ass and realize that you're a great company that does some great things, but you can't seem to actually just, keep a consistent winning attitude going forward. Like, how do you do it? I don't get it. How do you release a PS4 Pro and then you go have a convention or an event to talk about it, and you have the most generic people stand on stage, confusing the crowd into wondering, oh, I guess I probably don't need this. How do you make a VR headset that is somehow the most successful VR headset on the market right now, yet your game support is trash? How do you do this over and over again, but then you'll just pull a PS2 out of your ass. You'll pull the PSP out of your ass. You'll just keep doing things that work out great, and then you're like, oh my God, they finally got it. They got it. We're good. And then the next thing that comes out, it's like, did you guys see Sony at E3? What the fuck? It was so bad, they didn't even come to E3 this year.
That was for our benefit, that we didn't have to sit through another banjo concert.
Banjo concert. So, all right. Anyways, let me finish this. So, in fact, the same thought here that Sony has been spreading at least as far back as 2015. Back in September of that year, Worldwide Studios president Yoshida said that a successor to the PS Vita would be unlikely. The climate is not healthy due to the dominance of mobile gaming. No, it's due to the dominance of your stupidity again. How can you... I hate companies that are like, well, our shit failed because of everything else around us. Not because, we made this great system that was, way overpriced. Okay?
What was it at launch?
$250 for the cheap model. If you wanted the 3G model, that's right, I said it right.
Yeah.
They actually thought games were going to play over 3G.
I remember that.
We can't even get games to play over 4G, barely, okay? So anyways... If you wanted a 3G model, it was even more. I think it was like $300, okay? Now, given a Switch is that price range right now without 3G, but people accept it. So you're telling me that if Sony came out with a handheld device, it doesn't. And here's the thing, Nintendo figured it out. We can't have a home edition and a handheld edition anymore. It has to be the same. Mm-hmm. So when Zelda comes out, I buy that cartridge and I play it in both areas. But it's the same game. Handheld, home, doesn't matter, same game. That was the genius move that everyone right now should copy. Okay, copy Nintendo at this point. Come out with a handheld device, Sony, that when you drop The Last of Us Part 2, I could play it on the go, and I could play it at home. And if you're, for God's sakes, going to tell me that it's PlayStation Now, I will I'm just going to take my Spider-Man PS4 and spike it into the concrete.
I got you that for your birthday.
I
man.
know, but that's how bad this is.
No,
That's
man.
how upsetting this is right now.
Violence against a collector system.
Yeah. Okay, okay. Can you honestly sit here and say everything I just read about Sony and why the Vita failed is not complete and utter bullshit?
No, I can't. I can't tell you that because it is. Even the argument of the price point, I don't even know. It can't 100% be fair. No, it is because the 3DS came out at $269 when it first launched and sold terribly.
Yeah.
Nintendo price cut it within like the first 3 months down to like $200, and then offered some incentives to those that were launch buyers at that price because they knew the $200 price point was the right price point. And the reason the system didn't do well, again, it's the things that you hit on. The company didn't support it with quality software that was enticing for a broad spectrum of the market. The PS Vita was unfortunately only marketed at the hardcore gaming audience, and it wasn't even marketed to them very well. Where, the success of Nintendo's multiple handheld systems dating back to the Game Boy, dating back to the Game & Watch, is they are accessible and they have games that are marketed and appeal to everyone. It's a marketing failure.
No, it is. It's horrible. And I mean, again, we saw glimpses of like Tearaway and those types of games that were like, oh wow, this is going to be really cool. The technology in this thing's going to be really cool. And then it was just that was it. You got like that first wave of support, and you were like waiting for the next wave, and it never happened. And we can argue to say that PlayStation VR has been similar, where it's like, yeah, okay, we get Beat Saber, and then okay, yeah, there's Moss. Okay, now we have Astrobot. Like literally it was a demo that they just built out into a mini game system. Like it's just not growing. It's like you just get just a little bit to keep it going. Just a little bit to keep it going. And then like what? You're going to release version 2 on the PS5 and people are going to buy it? You better have a whole new wave of games and a whole plan to explain to people how the future of VR is healthy, because right now it doesn't look healthy on the PSVR. I'm not saying VR in general. Everyone knows I'm not a huge VR fan for the gaming world. It's fun. It's gimmicky. It is what it is. Give me Beat Saber. I'll play it every time that you ask me to. But at the same time, it is not the next level of gaming currently. It's not the future of gaming currently. And so for me, I look at the Vita, I go, the Vita had more potential than the PlayStation VR did.
No doubt. Like,
no doubt.
Hey. I will vomit on the soundboard with that attitude.
We need a new
Out of
soundboard
protest.
anyway.
Out
So
of protest.
Patreon.com/GameZilla Media.
The thing is all three of us in the room own a Vita.
Right. Okay. So Mickey, are you gonna listen? You were yelling at me off this before we were streaming here, before we were recording. Okay. You were also here trying to defend the Vita. You're trying to defend the Vita, and then we got yelled at by our producer saying, "Hey, save it for the show." And now you're over there being quiet. What you got?
If you had said what you were saying,
You wouldn't let me speak.
you wouldn't let me speak.
I'm letting you speak right now.
I'm so used. Well, I'm so used to you, taking a dump on me. But no,
I don't take that many dumps on you, okay?
But I agree with what you said. Sony has a big problem, and that's not following through with things they come out with. I mean, the Vita is a great handheld. It was a little bit gimmicky. If they had left off the the touch screen and the touchpad in the back and actually gave us real buttons, but the most
Remember that stupid gimmicky thing that had touchscreens that sucked and no one bought, like the DS and the 3DS? Oh wait, no. Gimmicky and touchscreens work if you actually put effort into them.
But like the touchpad in the back, like they were lazy and used that as your L2 and R2 buttons when it didn't feel comfortable.
Yep.
I mean,
And you didn't feel like you could be accurate.
exactly. But I mean, it has great graphics. I'm playing a game right now. Like I think it's called Freedom Wars, and I'm addicted
Good
to
game.
it.
It's a
Yeah,
good game.
the game is so much fun. But it has plenty of experiences on there. Yes, there are a lot of JRPGs, and that's because the handheld, it appeals to the handheld market over in Japan. Handhelds sell big over there.
It did appeal.
Yep.
Did.
Well, I mean, no. Well, I'm saying does because I'm I'm including this. We got your cell phones, your mobile games, the Nintendo Switch Lite. I mean, handhelds do great in Japan. They don't do so hot outside of Japan. That's because people in Japan, they're always on the go. They're always, going from point A to point B. But like what you guys are saying, this just needs more follow through for Western markets.
Well, the problem that we were arguing about this because Mickey's like, I was like, yeah, the Vita's trash, right? And you're like, what? No, it's not. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
We all have one. I'm like, right, okay, pump the brakes. Who's the first one to buy one in this room?
Grim.
Yeah. When did I buy it?
Launch day.
Oh, yeah, I did. Launch day. When did you buy your Switch?
Vita.
Vita.
Vita, probably about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I
It was
bought
already
mine
dead.
I bought mine like 6 months ago for $40 off our buddy.
Extra dead. Okay. I've bought 4 Vitas thinking it's still here. It's still got a chance. It's still okay. It's just a little airborne. It's still good. But
It's just a little underdeveloped for it. It's still good. It's still good.
Yeah, exactly. And guess what? I got burned every time. I'm not saying that the device as a piece of hardware isn't impressive, but like it's a failure. Like it is a failure. And the fact that we're gonna defend this thing, I'm sorry, I can't defend it anymore with the fact that like Sony deserves to get all the hate it possibly can for how bad it messed this thing up, because it did have potential, and it was that that same way that I could look at Sega and say how impressive the Dreamcast was.
Yeah.
And how bad they messed it up, and how before its time that system was. The Vita was the same way. It took PSP and just made and took it to a whole nother level. It made the Game Boy look like a kiddie toy. And that was the thing, is that this was supposed to be, this could have been for the adults, this could have been for the older age gamers, and just it missed on every attempt it took. And when you're sitting here throwing out games like Freedom Wars, which I love, like that's the rare one-off exclusive that you're like, cool. Where the hell are the rest of them?
Right.
So I don't know. And in all honesty, if Nintendo would have came out and actually said, here's the Nintendo Switch, it's a handheld device, and here's the Wii U plus, it's our home version. Nintendo would be dead right now. Nintendo would be dead. They did it right when they decided to actually combine the two worlds into that one device, and that's what Sony needs to do. Now, here's the deal, okay? We're talking all this hate on it, and we're going to move on soon. But the one thing I will say is that they did invest into Microsoft just recently. PlayStation bought into the Azure platform. They bought into Microsoft's cloud system because they know that this next generation of xCloud, Stadia, and all of these programs are already underway, and they need to compete. And they fucked up again, okay? Why didn't I bring this up in earlier? They had streaming. They had a gaming cloud. It was called PlayStation Now. They bought it like back in 2015. Mickey, didn't we read this last night? I forgot about it. Remember when they took the stage and they're like, we bought this cloud company for $15 million and we are going to revolutionize how games are. And then PlayStation Now came out. And I don't know if you remember, but it's terrible. Okay, it's garbage. And then a year later, they're like, okay, now we're going to improve it and we're going to fix all these things. And then they didn't. And so all these years went by. And here's the best part. We were reading this article while I was streaming last night. I didn't know this. The CEO of Google, I can't remember his name right now, but the current CEO of Google was the dude that presented that cloud service when Sony purchased it.
Oh.
The head developer of that same service that Sony bought is now the head director for Stadia.
That makes so much sense why Stadia doesn't work right.
Yeah, but the bottom line is like all the people that sold this thing off for $15 million, they're like, all right, guys, we got to bail because this is trash, and Sony doesn't know what they're doing, literally ran over to Google and built Stadia. Now, I'm not sitting here saying Stadia is the answer because it's not doing very well. But it's just like, to me, like, what Sony, what did you exactly do? They go, they launched it. They launched it back in like 2016. I think they announced it in 2015, launched it in 2016. Okay, 3 years later, they officially announced they have 1 million subscribers. 1 million.
1 million people subscribe to Now?
Yeah, but how many?
I don't know anyone that subscribes to Now.
How many systems did they just announce they sold?
They have over 100 million systems sold.
Oh, I think it's like 120 now.
No.
Is it?
120 is... Have they passed the...
PS2 is 140, isn't it?
I think PS2 is 140, and I thought the DS Lite was 128.
Okay. They're over 100 million.
Yeah.
And they have 1 million subscribers. That is a horrible attach rate. That is a horrible attach rate. What do you think I don't know the number, but what do you think the attach rate is on Game Pass right now?
Oh, it's
good.
25%?
It's got to be. Like
it's
again,
gotta
I don't
be
have
15% or higher.
Yeah, again, I don't have the number, but it's you know, and what do you think the attachment of like Xbox Live is?
Oh.
And then the way that they decided to take Game Pass and Xbox Live and combine it into that Ultimate Game Pass, those percentages are good. PlayStation Now is just like dead. And they're gonna be like, we hit 1 million subscribers, guys. It's like you have 100 million systems out there. 100 million. That's not good. This is the same problem I had with the PSVR when they celebrated hitting a milestone on the PSVR. I was like, you've sold 80 million PS4s. Why are you congratulating the 1 million headsets that you had? If it was even that.
It was bad.
Yeah.
Over 155 million PS2s, 154 million Nintendo DSs.
Yeah.
The Game Boy at 118, and then
Yeah.
the PS4 at almost 103.
103, okay.
Million.
Okay. All right. Well, anyways, so this is Sony, guys. Like we sit here and a lot of us fell into that Sony like fan base because when the PS1 came out, they were the underdog. They were the underground. They were doing things differently than the big big boys, Nintendo and Sega. You had these guys that were coming and making some really cool stuff. And then the PS2 revolutionized things. I'll give them that. It was amazing what the PS2 did. And then the PS3 was a mess, and they fixed it late in its life, but it was a mess. You know, like PS4, great. They did a good job, and then they just kept they keep stumbling and they keep making weird decisions to the point where now we're sitting here talking about rumors of the PS5 with solid state memory cartridges that you're gonna have to buy, and keeping the touchpad on the DualShock 4 controller that's now being rumored to be potentially a monitor but they don't believe in handheld gaming, so this monitor is going to show you a health bar that you're gonna have to look off the screen to see your health bar.
It's gonna be like the Wii U gamepad, only do less.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. Like,
imagine playing games on a DualShock.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So, and I can't, I mean, that's just a rumor. I don't think it's a screen. I think we're going to end up with a touchpad once again because Sony just doesn't listen to people, man. Like, they just do not listen. Where Xbox on the other side has been listening to their fan base, and they have been trying to win people back and been trying to do some really impressive things. Hey, there's no RPGs. Hey, there's no JRPGs on the Xbox platform. You know what we're going to do? We're going to take the head of Xbox, Phil Spencer, we're going to put him on stage, and he's going to admit to the people, you know what? You're right. Here's 15 games in a row that are all RPGs that we're working on right now. Like, that's what they're doing. They're literally listening to the person that's complaining and going, oh, interesting. So that's okay, cool. Oh, you think the same thing? Interesting. Oh, this must be what a trend is. You all are upset. Well, if we change that, then you'll be happy again, right? That's how it works. And that's what they're doing. Like, it's not hard. That's the problem. It blows my mind that these companies are so closed off and they're like, well, I don't care what you like. We know what you want. And that's not, and you know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like Xbox at launch, back when they announced Xbox One. Back when Xbox One was like DRM, you can't share your video games because that's the future. Digital's the future, even though everybody was still buying physical media, and they were forcing it on people, and that's why everybody jumped and bought PS4s. Mm-hmm. And now it's flipping around, and Sony's doing that because why? I don't know.
I wonder if there's a little bit of difference in the approach of Sony's a Japanese company. Microsoft's a North American company. I wonder if there's just different business
Nintendo
approaches.
doesn't seem to be having that problem.
Well, we're saying that
for the first time ever.
We're saying that in the fact that if you look at the history of Nintendo, Nintendo just does what Nintendo wants to do. I don't think Nintendo's ever cared what people think. We just love Nintendo because they're quirky and charming, and we're huge Nintendo fanboys. But I can't sit there and tell you that I think Nintendo as a company has ever listened to me as a consumer.
Okay, but the Atari VTS or whatever, VTG.
The VCS?
VCS, yeah, that thing's great.
Man, it got delayed again. I don't know what I'm going to get you for Christmas. They delayed it.
Maybe we just don't exchange gifts now if we can't get that.
You're right. I think all of Christmas is ruined.
Get him a Soldier Boy console.
Man, Soldier Games.
Anyways, let us know what you're thinking about Sony here and some of these, like...
It turned into a big rant on Sony sucks.
It did, but... And, I mean, here's the thing. I like... Everybody that knows me, or at least knows me, pretty well, they know I play games everywhere, and I own all the systems. I play PC, like I play games everywhere. So it's not that I want to hate on Sony. It's just that I don't get why they do certain things the way they're doing, the way they're deciding right now.
Well, let's review something you just said 10 minutes ago. You bought 4 Vitas.
Yeah.
And you've bought 2 VR headsets. You bought numerous PlayStations. If you continue to spend money on hardware that fails to be supported by a company, you have every right to be upset. So,
yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like when we bought the Switch, we weren't sure, but we love Nintendo. We're like, we need to buy the Switch
so it doesn't die.
Yeah.
We didn't want Nintendo to die.
Yeah, we didn't want Nintendo to die. So, and it worked out. But I don't know, and we'll see here. We got a big year ahead of us with PS5 and Xbox Scarlet, coming out here. So we'll really see what these two companies are going to bring. But right now, I'm just irritated. They seem to be kind of like still making dumb decisions, but at the same time, they're not really, because they're winding down. There's nothing really exciting happening at the same time. So all you see are the dumb decisions, and it's not covered up by God of War and Horizon Zero Dawn and things like that. Like, I have no problem with their production of their games. Their first party developer games and teams that they have are fantastic. They're some of the best in the world. But it's the hardware and it's Sony themselves that I don't have I still don't have the trust in them. I'm still worried.
Yeah.
So
I guess to loop this back around to what started the conversation is, Sony not going to make another handheld system. That won't bother me if the performance of their streaming service actually works. Because the little bit that I've played with xCloud that you have access to, I go, oh, I see this as a viable way to game. If Sony comes out and their streaming service blows, then I'm going to go, oh, they probably should have released a handheld because they're now out of the game.
Right, yeah. And that's the problem, is that I feel like this generation of this streaming xCloud, Stadia platform stuff is that whoever gets it right is going to gain so much market value, and it's going to be so hard for another company to win people back unless they practically give stuff away.
And again, not to spin this off of the subject we were having, but Microsoft, a year ahead of the launch of their new system, is already showing glimpses that there will be success.
Right.
Sony, we know nothing about. Google's pretty much taken themselves out of the game with a terrible launch.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. All right, topic number 2 is a personal vendetta that I have right now. So you guys think right now, oh, he's ripping on PlayStation. He's been playing nothing but Xbox. Well, it's Xbox's turn, okay? I bought a Xbox Elite Series 2 controller back at launch in November. And I praised the controller here live on the show. I've been using it nonstop. And, the controller is a wonderful device. It is arguably the most comfortable controller I have ever held. And I love it. But I'm having problems. And this leads me to just want to ask Xbox, want to ask Microsoft, what exactly is going on here? Because I'm not the only one reporting these issues. So I bought the controller. I've been using it, and I primarily use the paddles on the bottom, right, to go jump, slide, reload my gun, whatever, depending on what I'm playing. Well, I started to play Rocket League recently, and I don't necessarily like using the paddles for Rocket League. I'll use the face buttons. And so I started to hit the face buttons, and I noticed I'd hit A, which is jump in Rocket League, and I'd go hit A, and my car wouldn't jump. Not always, but sometimes. So that was a little frustrating. I'm like, what is going on? And it got worse to the point where I'm like, okay, I could hit the button in certain ways that I could cause it not to trigger the button push. I'm like, well, that's a problem. And then I started noticing on my left joystick, which is everything is stainless steel, all the little like joystick parts and everything, and around the ring of the joystick, the outer ring is also stainless steel. So it's super smooth, right? You just run that joystick around, and it just feels like water,
Like nothing at all.
yeah, like nothing. And all of a sudden, I start feeling this rough spot at the top of my joystick.
Ugh.
You move forward, running forward, whatever, and you're strafing. It just feels grindy, just grinding. Sure enough, I look, and here we are. We have some wear at the top of the joystick that looks very abnormal, like peeling of a layer of some sort of anodized material, that's on top of the metal. Like, I haven't even had this controller a month. So I contact, the place that I purchased it through, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we can get you a replacement in 1 to 2 months."
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, 1 to 2 months, because that's how sold out the controller
A
was.
cough of shock.
Sold out the controller was. So I was like, "Well, how long do I have to return this controller?" They're like, "Well, you bought it within the holidays, so you have till January 31st." I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna keep what I have right now, because they wanted me to send the controller back and then wait 2 months to get the new controller. I'm like, or I'll just use the controller, and then when you replenish or it gets close to return time, I'll return it. I go, because this is Xbox fault, not my fault. So I'm just gonna use the controller. Still usable for the most part, but I'm not happy with it. So I decided to check the store once again, and they're back in stock. Okay, after a couple weeks after they told me this, they're back in stock. I processed the return. 1 day later, or 2 days later, I get the new controller. Okay, pull the controller out, feels good. Hook it up to the system. Start a game of FORTNITE. Just in creative mode, where I can just literally just spam buttons, run around, and not worry about anything. And I'm primarily playing with the face buttons, even though I wouldn't normally do that. And I'm playing A's jump in the game again. I'm hitting A, and all of a sudden I go to hit A, and there's no button push, because the A button is already stuck down.
I've always said I hate the face buttons on the Xbox
So I have
controller.
to wiggle it a little bit. It pops back up.
They're bad buttons, man.
And I'm like, what the hell? So I literally just sit there trying to get it to do it again. And I finally find a motion that I can kind of push the button, but also kind of maybe like a side push in a way. Mm-hmm. And every time it sticks down. And so that pop it back up. And so I'm just like, this could just be like a rough edge of the shell. So I've gotten it to the point where it doesn't seem to be sticking anymore. So I might not have to have a problem with this controller, because the other problems I had with the joystick and the other face buttons and all that, they do seem fine at the moment. But what is going on? So I've had two controllers now. Both have problems. Brand new out of the box. BMC has replaced his Elite Series 2 controller because of what I told him. He started to notice a potential rough spot in his joystick, swapped it out. Then I go online to find people that are talking about how the rubber grips are already falling off their controllers, drift in the joysticks, all this. This is a $180 controller. First party from Microsoft. I'm not buying a PDP piece of shit from a third party. What is going on right now? I've had and the best part is that the quality control of the Elite Series 1 was not great. Not great. A lot of people reported Series 1 issues. I never had a Series 1 issue. I had the Gears of War edition and just an OG Elite Series 1. Neither one ever gave me problems. But people would report the same thing. So I was like, it's just people that are rough on their stuff. And then here I am, Elite Series 2, problem. So I don't know what's going on, but I love the controller. It's great. But if I don't get the longevity out of it that I can get out of, say, an Astro C40, a Cinch gaming controller, even a Razer, that's making the Wolverines and all the other. Bless you.
Thank you.
Bless you.
Thank you. My soul.
All the other manufacturers out there that are trying to make a pro controller, like it used to be like Microsoft was one step up. Microsoft had this elite controller that really was premium, and that's what it still feels like. But if every time I go 25 days into owning this controller and all of a sudden it starts to feel like it's already wearing out, that's a problem to me. That's a big problem. And it's super disappointing because they took so long for this controller to come out. The Elite Series 1 had such a long life that the Elite Series 2 is literally coming out at the end of the Xbox One life cycle. And I know you're going to be able to use it on the next Xbox. That was the whole point. That was why I bought this. But I'm worried it won't make it to the next Xbox because that's a year away and I can't get 30 days in before this controller starts to feel funky. It's disappointing, man. Super disappointing. And I haven't had any problems with the paddles, the triggers, the joysticks, as far as joysticks, not the...
You haven't had any drift or dead spots.
Drift or anything, yeah. So, like, all of that has been good. It's just a weird rough spot in the outer ring of the joystick, and then the face buttons are just awful. And I've used, like, the face buttons on the Series 1, and then the standard... I ran Gears 5 with the standard controller that came with my Gears 5 system, and they felt great. So, like, this is just an issue with this controller. You go on YouTube right now, and you can actually find plenty of videos of people having these problems. And it's just like, what is going on? Where's the production value? Where is the quality control? And are you honestly trying to sell a $180 controller that can't make it 30 days? Like, what type of testing was done to see if these things are going to hold up?
Yeah, this controller is like 3 times as expensive as your standard Xbox controller.
Yeah. Yeah. So
you can't have, like, it's just mind-blowing that a product that's marketed at premium is coming out with quality control issues.
Yeah. The one thing I will say that is if the A button doesn't stick like I was having initially is that it does seem to register. I haven't had any of those miss jumps or whatever. So it does seem to actually work. It's just I've noticed that it's a little finicky, and I'm worried, does that get worse or does it get better as I break that controller in a little bit more?
Yeah.
Topic 2, just I needed to vent. I couldn't believe it. I'm sitting here like, come on, man. Seriously, am I going to exchange it again and get a third one and see if I have a problem? I might, because it needs to be, for that price point, it needs to be perfect.
Yeah, it should be nothing, like, you should be relying on that controller at a very high level to perform when you spend more than what it costs to currently buy an Xbox.
Yeah, exactly.
And it, like, whenever I've used or held your Elite controllers, I'm like, wow, this feels great. I understand the value in having one of these, but if it doesn't perform up to your expectations, then it's not worth it. You'd be better off buying 3 regular controllers and throwing them at people.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hitting them with them. That's what I would do with them.
Yeah. Well, anyways, let me know if you picked up an Elite Series 2 controller and what... I know BMC's in the chat right now talking about... Because I mentioned that he had to exchange his as well. He seems to be happy with the second one that he's gotten, so that's good. And I think Steve-O's in here saying that his has been great, so that's good to hear. If you have an Elite Series 2, you're having problems with it, or you're loving it, join the Discord. Let's talk in the Xbox channel. Let's talk about this controller. And we can share our stories a little bit more, and I can maybe get a little bit more heated. I just haven't had any luck.
You were pretty raged up when we talked about this before the show.
It's just disappointing, man. Like, I stream almost every night, and this is my primary input device. Like, I love the fact that I game with this device.
Yeah.
Like, it's one reason why I get excited to play, because I feel this controller makes me... Like, it gives me an advantage.
Yeah.
I feel better with this controller. So the second I feel like it's off or that there's something wrong with it, that bothers me.
Oh, yeah.
And because it bothers me, it affects my gaming, and which then affects my stream. And then here I am just bitching instead of having a good time. It's better, BMC, but you must have missed it. I'm talking to mixer.com/GameZilla Media right now. We're live every Monday night at 7 p.m. Slightly after usually, but anyways.
I'll be dead next Monday at 7 p.m.
Yeah, the A button is sticking. Like it's like getting caught on the edge of the body, and then I have to like wiggle it loose. And I think it's getting better, but it's still out of the box. Here I am having some sort of weird issue with it, and that's super frustrating. And Xbox needs to do better for a premium for their like legit most premium product that they make. There's not a more premium product that they make at this moment.
Yeah, because even the Xbox One X isn't 3 times the cost of an Xbox One S.
Yeah.
So value for...
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. All right, let's get to our last topic. It's a short one. We all heard the news that Phil Spencer, Xbox boss, dropping during an Extra Life charity stream was like, hey, that Remedy Entertainment game called Control, it's coming to the Xbox Game Pass.
Big get for the Game Pass.
Yeah. And everyone was like, oh my God, this is great. We had a bunch of people in the community. They're like, damn it, I just bought this game on sale for Black Friday, and now I get it for free. I'm never buying a video game for Xbox again. Well, pump your brakes, because that might have been all bullshit. Yeah, sorry, Miggy.
Philip.
Yeah, Phil came out there and said that the Xbox Game Pass. But today, Remedy and Microsoft say that was an incorrect statement, and there are no plans to bring Control to Microsoft's video game subscription service. So, I don't know. If there's no plans, how do you get that wrong? And also, is this complete bullshit? Maybe there was plans, and then someone got mad at somebody, and then it all fell apart. So, and they're just trying to just brush it under the rug. Like, yep, you were wrong. We were never going to bring this game here. What happened? I don't know. How do you do that? Is there a game that's called something else, like close to Control? I don't know one.
Oh, he was thinking of Cortana is being removed from the Xbox.
Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, very confusing. Phil's normally pretty sharp, but I guess the stress of the holidays really got him down.
During the stream, Spencer mentioned that Control didn't reach enough people and that he was glad to see it being added to Xbox Game Pass. Developer Remedy, Remedy Entertainment tweeted this morning to dispute Spencer's statement. The information about Control coming to the Xbox Game Pass, as reported on a recent Mixer stream, is incorrect. The developer said, "We have no news or announcements regarding Game Pass at this time."
Yeah, but what if it's coming to Game Pass in like 6 months and they didn't want to miss out on 6 months worth of sales? What if this is a backpedal because, like, it is a done deal, but Phil's like, thought maybe he got the release dates mixed up. Maybe he thought it was coming out January 1 hitting Game Pass, and it's actually coming out June 1 hitting Game Pass, and that would cost the developer money.
Yeah, I mean, this game could very well come to Game Pass at some point, but the fact of the matter is that it's just so odd that Phil Spencer, of all people, came out, dropped this. Clearly seemed like he always seems very...
He speaks with authority.
He's informed. He speaks with authority. He says stuff that's ready to be said. We really don't see Phil slip up and make a mistake. And so... this to happen just is kind of, it's odd. It's off. And so it kind of makes you wonder what's going on in the background. But for those that enjoy the Game Pass, we just got announced a whole slew of new games coming, including Halo Reach, Tom Clancy's The Division, Pathologic 2, Overcooked 2, Demon's Tilt, and a bunch of other games that just hit too, Miggy. We saw a couple actually that were, I saw like a futuristic pinball game that I downloaded instantly. And there was another big one that you were excited about, I thought. I can't remember. But anyways, they're adding value always to Game Pass. Control would have been really cool to see, but if it doesn't, it's still one of those games that I know Miggy would agree with me. You need to check this game out. It's a super underrated game that didn't, like Phil said, didn't get the attention it deserved. So it needs it's up for a lot of awards this year for the gaming for the gaming awards. and it definitely needs people to give it a try, give it a second thought.
If you liked, what was that? The game. Wow, just bought it. It's in the same universe. Alan Wake. If you like Alan Wake, definitely check this out. It's tied together. DLC coming out, I think, first quarter next year.
Yeah, if you want my opinion on this, and you mentioned it about the sales and everything, right? And how it could affect sales and all that. But do you think this game getting all the nominations that it got, and maybe this deal was already in place before that, and then all of a sudden Control got, put up for Game of the Year, Art Director of the Year, sound. I think it's got a sound award that's up for. It's up for probably 3 to 5 awards. You think the developer was like, oh well, we want to wait. This could be that push we need. This could be that exposure we need.
Correct. It could this could be the best. The sales from the launch might not even come close to what could happen if this does win Game of the Year, and everyone goes, oh man, maybe I should play this game. They could double their sales.
Right. So, I mean, that's kind of my thought around here is that did something happen where there was an initial kind of, maybe not a solid deal, but discussion happened, and then all of a sudden it was well, actually, we're going to wait a little bit longer. I don't know.
Yeah, because, I mean, what we have no clue of is what the financial dealings are for getting a major release like Control on Game Pass. We have no idea.
Well,
they're not a Microsoft studio, are they? No, because it would have already come to Game Pass if they were a Microsoft studio.
Yeah.
No, it used to be. They used to be a Microsoft exclusive studio. Then they went. I think they went.
They broke
solo.
away.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why we're getting the remake supposedly of Alan Wake to PS4.
Yeah. Mickey's scrolling right now through the award nominations, and I've already counted 5. So there's at least 5. They actually possibly might have more than that. But anyways, Control. Yep, there's number 6. They have a lot of awards.
I hope they take it home.
Man, they'll be taking some hardware home if they got that many nominations. But yeah, I don't know. It's a little bit of a bummer. It's nothing like I'm going to sit there and roast Phil over or anything like that. But it's
People
odd.
make mistakes.
Yeah, it's odd. I kind of we'll never really know the truth. But it is a weird situation that you kind of feel like maybe negotiations fell apart there. And something changed.
If it comes to Game Pass within the next 3 months, I'll do a little bit of roasting on some people because that to me feels dishonest. If it's more closer to 6 months to 8 months out, I go, okay, they still had to get their sales. But if it's in the next couple months, that does feel dishonest. If the announcement was made, then they sort of trick people into buying it after the Game Awards.
Yeah, and I wonder what is the deal? We probably could get a little bit of this information if we sat there and researched it some more. What is the deal with Game Pass? You bring your game to Game Pass, you get a cut. I feel like
do you get a cut when the game gets downloaded?
That's what I mean. How does it work? Is it just a flat cut? Bring your game to Game Pass, we give you this much, based off of your sales beforehand or something like that. I don't know. How do you get a game? How does Microsoft make that deal to bring Control there? Because it's not as simple as, hey, my game didn't sell well. I want you to put it on here. I'm going to let you put it on here for free. People are going to download it for free. I'm going to get nothing out of it. And then, we're just going to move on our way. There's no way that's the game. That's the business plan.
Well, I mean, that's how streaming on Spotify works. Artists just get screwed and don't make any money. So maybe it's the same thing with Game Pass.
Man. I hope that's not the case because we're going to see a lot of developers close their doors as that becomes the primary way to play video games.
Can't be true.
That was our attack on the news. For these topics and much more, visit GameZillaMedia.com where we have all sorts of additional content. I'm not going to get into it. You just need to go to GameZillaMedia.com and see everything that we're doing because we're awesome. That's all there is to it.
There's more to it, but you'll have to go to the website to find out.
Absolutely. But, we're running late, so we're going to move right into Zilla Update.
Ooh, boy. I always get this button right. Always. Every time. Every time.
Well, I had a really good weekend, everybody. So I'm just going to get us started with this very special shirt that I'm wearing. It says Stream for Mott, hashtag Stream for Mott. And that's because I got to go to one of our very fun Mott arcades here at Children's Hospital in Michigan and hang out, play video games with some kids, have a really good time. But it was a special event. It was they're building a viral video for a extra life charity event coming up to try to raise money for this department, these teams all across the country, and that are doing these amazing things at Children's Hospital. So for those of you that don't know, a lot of these people that are working in these positions, the hospital only has a limited budget, so they can only bring in 1 or 2 people. So you see these teams of 4 or 5 people that are working. They're being supported by charities. Yeah. Charities are being able to create positions within these hospitals so that these people can do their job and help these kids. So we'll keep you posted once the video is live, once the event's coming up, and we'll try to get you more details. But it was pretty cool. They had a film crew. We got to do some interviews and explain how GameZilla got involved, and how and why we wanted to get involved, and what are some of our favorite things that we've done at the Mott Arcade. So yeah, it was a great weekend. I had a lot of fun with the people that were able to make it out there. I'll be back next week for the normal event. So December we have 2 of them, but normally it's once a month. And so I'll be back there next week and hanging out and getting my butt kicked in some Mario Kart.
Yeah, you trash.
Yeah.
Them kids put work on you.
There's a lot of trash talk that, man, they get that controller in their hand. They're like, "Let's go! I am taking you down." And I was like, "Oh!" It was the best part was we had the Star Wars troops there, right?
Oh yeah.
We had the Stormtrooper, we had Princess Leia, and we had an Imperial General. Mm-hmm. And the general came by and took a knee and was like, I'll race you. And was hanging out with a couple of the kids and me. He's like, I'll race you guys. And and he's sitting there like, you want to wear my hat? He goes to take off his Imperial hat, and the kid's like, no, you're a bad guy. And he's like, that's true.
Yeah.
So the best part is the kid keeps kind of looking at him. And you can see, and he keeps catching. He's like, what? And finally, the kid just lunges and mashes all of his buttons on his controller. Yeah. And he's like, you can't do that. That's cheating. He's like, yes, I can, because you're a bad guy.
Yeah.
I was like, yes.
This kid knows.
Down with the Empire.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it was a really good time and highlight of my gaming week. Other than that, just been playing some Sea of Thieves. Got back into Sea of Thieves. The new DLC dropped, and we wanted to kind of find another game to enjoy streaming. And so Owl Zero, myself, Player One, Miggy, even some of our fans that watch us on our channels joined up and played some Sea of Thieves. And man, every time I go back to that game, I'm just like, man, why did we ever stop playing this game? It's just so much fun. It's basic, it's simple, but they've added so many new things. You can have pets now. I'm talking about monkeys.
Okay.
Birds.
Okay.
Pigs.
Okay.
I even saw a skeleton monkey.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard it was a Halloween event and that I might not be able to get it anymore, but still, they were a thing, and I watched someone running around with it on their arm, and I'm like, oh my God, what does it do? And they're like, nothing really, besides just lower my stress, and I'm like, it's amazing. I need one. It just hangs out on your boat.
I like that.
So I log in, and the coolest part was I forgot about all the extra stuff that I unlocked by going to watching E3 on Mixer and Xbox Insider on Mixer and all that stuff, right? So I have a Gears of War flag, but the cog, the skull and the cog is actually done up like a skull would look like in Sea of Thieves. So it's clearly it's Gears, but it's also got that just slight hint of artwork made by Rare, right?
I like that.
Yeah. And so that was a lot of fun. And then I got all my Halo gear so I can Halo deck out my my ship with Halo stuff. But they've added so many small things. I'm sitting there steering the ship and I get struck by lightning. And I'm like, because I'm in the middle of a storm.
Yeah.
And I'm like, did I just get struck by lightning? What? I didn't know that could happen. And then all of a sudden the wheel is really hard to turn.
Oh no.
And I'm like, what's wrong with the wheel? And I was like, get off of it. We got to repair it. I'm like, what do you mean you got to repair the wheel? And I stepped back and I realized that several of the handles are missing in my wheel, and he's like shoving wood boards into them and then hammering them in. And it doesn't fix my wheel. It's still a wood board that I have to grab at that point.
Thank God the owl's there to carry you through
I know.
stuff.
I need my handyman, right? And so like
Yeah, our boy knows how to fix stuff.
yeah. And so I'm just sitting here like all these little things that I'm noticing.
Like even in game world, owl's just fixing stuff.
Yeah, all these little things that I'm noticing that just are are really cool. It's been a ton of fun, and my new favorite thing has got to be the firebomb. It's just this glass orb that's got liquid in it, and then you just smash it, and everything lights on fire. And I had to try it, so I harpooned. Oh yeah, there's harpoons now on your ship.
Yeah.
So I harpooned another ship so it couldn't get away from me, and then boarded it, and then ran downstairs before they could kill me and smashed a bunch of them in their basement, and then jumped back on my boat, and the bottom of their boat burned out and they sunk. And I was like, oh damn, these things are sweet.
That's pretty hood.
Yeah. So it was sweet.
When you get a monkey,
Yeah.
will you do me a favor and grant me naming rights over your monkey?
100%.
Can you please name your monkey Furious George?
Yep. Done and done. Assuming we could name the monkey.
That was for Craig WK in the chat.
Oh, I'm not going to do it then.
It's a Simpsons reference.
I'm not doing it anymore. Craig WK is dead to me.
That's how he prefers it.
All right. But yeah, what about you? What you got going for your gaming moment?
I not only completed the main story of Pokemon,
Because you're sick.
because I was sick. I was sick all weekend. I also completed the story of Star Wars Battlefront 2, which is a canonical Star Wars story. So it was nice to get that little piece of what is true to the Star Wars universe and get to play it.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, it's a short little story, but I actually really liked it. So
Are you leaving something out though? I feel like you might have played something.
we're talking about like highlights of the week,
Yeah.
not being dragged to the depths.
Right.
So when
like,
you
I gave
firebomb
you
the boat,
a gift.
when you firebomb
think
a
a
boat, those
gift-
people were dragged to Davy Jones' locker.
I
That's
think
what you
a
did to
gift
me.
is high on the list.
Wednesday, this past Wednesday, I'm at work. I'm not even in the office. I hit Grim up and I'm like, hey, what do you got going on tonight? I'm just gonna be chilling. I'm willing to game. Like if you play something I have, aka like if he's playing something on PlayStation, playing something on Nintendo because I don't have an Xbox, like I'd game with you, open it up there. And he's like, oh yeah, maybe we'll get the boys, play some Rocket League. I'm like, yes. We haven't played Rocket League in forever. We used to be on Rocket League on the daily. I don't know, 9:30, 10 o'clock comes on. I was like, oh, well, Grim forgot about me. I guess he's playing Ark or some game that I don't have. He forgot about me. I wish so badly he had forgotten about me. Sometime between 9:30 and 10, Grim shoots me a text, hey, sexy, or something along those lines.
That's probably accurate.
And I was like, oh, what's up, man? He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm playing Pokemon, of course. And then he responds with one word. FORTNITE? ? And then and I'm like, I have it on my PlayStation, and I did tell him I would play a game if he played something that I had, and I technically did. So I fired up the PlayStation. Grim and Owl Zero got me in the chat, got me going. Player One Miggy showed up, and I played FORTNITE with the boys. Woo! Like a bunch of middle school dorks building fences and shooting at other losers.
Building fences. I like it.
And I'm like, how do you swim? I'm like, just laying, standing in the water with my gun.
He was such a noob. There, we got into a firefight, and we're all behind. Like we built this fort real quick, and we're hiding behind it. And then I look over, and he's just standing out in the middle of the field. At least you're shooting your gun. Okay?
Yeah.
Like, at least you're shooting your gun. And I'm like, hey, Deadite, why don't you come over here and shoot your gun from this spot?
The high ground. Get the high ground.
Yeah. But I was impressed because you took damage. I'd run over and drop a health pack and shields, and you would pick them up and use them. Like you caught on pretty quick to something like a lot of the basics.
For some reason, the first several times I played FORTNITE back in season 1,
Yeah.
I could never get a hold of it. And I don't know if it's the way the game's been revamped or whatever. It's not like I watch Fortnite on streams ever, so it's not like I've learned anything from watching.
Yeah.
But I did seem to sort of pick up the basics of the game where I never had before.
Yep.
So I did actually have a moderate amount of fun. But here's my problem. Everyone in Fortnite fights like a bitch. Don't build walls. Come and square up with me.
Yeah.
I will admit, the next day I had to try and sync up all my stuff to try and get my account on my Switch because I downloaded it there so I could play it with you, because I'm not going to buy new games to play with you. I'm just going to play free games with you. That's my new method.
Smart. That's a good idea.
And so if that means I have to play Fortnite to play with the boys, I guess that's what I have to do.
Right.
I played one round by myself. I had like 5 kills.
Yeah.
I was tearing it up. Some person runs up on me while I'm like switching my gear up, and they're in the house with me. I was like, I already have the rocket launcher equipped. I go, I guess we're both going down. And I just shoot at the ground in front of us while this person's trying to shoot me with a gun. I just blow us both up. I'm like, yeah, you weren't ready for me to go suicide because I don't care. I don't care about this game at all.
Deadite.
I was like, screw both of us.
So Deadite
because
right
I was
there.
like, this works because I was just trying to sign in and it automatically throws you into a game, which is stupid.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want to stop playing this so I can go play Pokemon, because playing Fortnite alone is miserable. You're just wandering around trying to find other people on this giant map. It's not fun at all. And it's at least fun when you got the boys. And so I'm like, this person's doing me a solid by running up on me while I have the rocket launcher that I just picked up, because I'm going to kill us both and do us both a favor so we can stop playing Fortnite.
Very nice. Craig WK in the Mixer chat says kamikaze is a very valid strategy.
Wow. It was the most fun I'd ever had playing Fortnite, was killing myself and someone else.
Yeah, I that would have been a great strategy in squads, because we just come pick you up after.
Yeah.
Death before dishonor.
Yeah. Wow. Well, yeah. I'm really happy about your highlight.
Yeah.
It did make me realize one thing though. I did get to play Rocket League.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm playing on Xbox, where I have nothing.
Yeah.
My hundreds of hours of Rocket League are all on the Switch.
Your loot all
And there's no cross accounts. Like, there's cross play, but your account doesn't travel with you.
They got to get that together.
They got to, right? So I'm playing, and
It's
I'm like,
epic
man,
now.
I have so many cool things on the Switch, but nothing really on the Xbox. And I was really bummed. And so we're streaming. We're having a blast. I mean, we had an amazing time playing Rocket League.
Oh, when was this?
Friday?
Thanks for texting
You were
me.
sick.
Thanks for texting me.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Home
We had
alone, play video
we had a
games.
full room. We didn't need you.
Oh,
No,
okay.
we didn't have a full room.
Oh!
Yeah. Oops. So, anyways, this person stops by, hits the follow button, and says, "Hey, I'm gifting out black market gifts for 2 streamers for early Christmas."
Wow.
And I don't know anything about Rocket League after they adjusted their loot boxes and changed all this stuff, but so I'm like, okay, this person is just trying to scam me or something like that. And then they're like, well, so, do you want it? And I was like, you know what? I'm going to bite. I'm going to bite because I'm streaming right now and I want to just capture this as it goes down. So I get in, I join their, I'm like, guys, I'll be right back. Play around without me. I get in to join their, their group, and it's just them. So at first I was like, okay, there's nobody else. And then the trade button pops up. So I click it. And then a yellow item shows up, and then the accept button turns green already. I'm like, I don't really have anything to give you, and they're like, no, it's a gift, it's okay. So I take it, and it was the first piece was a effect body, like for my Octane, where like it moves, right? It's motion.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh wow, this is really cool, thanks. And I explain that all my stuff's on my Switch, and that this is nice to have because I feel like I have nothing. And I'm starting all over again. And so they're like, well, you want one more gift? And I was like, I mean, I'm not going to say no. You don't have to. But like, and they're like, okay. And so another trade thing comes through, and I get a car.
What card you get?
It reminds me of the Octane.
The one without the fin, though?
Yeah.
It was the one when the
I can't remember the name of it now for some reason.
The-
Nitro?
It's called like the Nitro or something. It's one the beach.
Yeah. It's from the beach. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So I got that was gifted to me, which is like a red body car or whatever.
Yeah.
And then probably the coolest wheels I have ever seen ever.
What do they look like?
the Twilight Zone twirl.
Oh yeah.
They're literally epic, legendary, but these are the black market. What do they call them? White Lightning Edition.
Yeah, those
They're
are super
20.
rare.
Yeah, 20. Like literally, she's like, yeah, those go for about $20 online right now.
Yeah.
So don't ever trade those. She said, and I was like, yeah, these are probably the coolest wheels I've ever seen in this game.
Yeah.
They're never leaving my inventory.
That's sweet.
So then the best part was they're like she's like. And at that point I find out her streaming name and all this stuff, and I'm like, okay. She's like, well, you want to play some rounds? I was like, well, do you want to play with with a couple guys I have over here on stream? Like, yeah. So we just ran 2v2s the rest of the night, had fun, and then she introduced me to Spike Rush. Have you heard this?
The mode?
The mode? Spike Rush?
When was the last time you played Rocket League? Spike Rush was in Rocket Pass 3.
I don't know.
We're on Rocket Pass 5 now.
I didn't know what it was.
You're too blinded by Fortnite.
Didn't
and
know what
Ark.
Spike Rush was. So we played a bunch of Spike Rush.
Rush is super fun.
Insane. And she was really good.
Yeah.
She had this move where she would get the ball, ride up onto the ceiling, fly off the ceiling, and wait right when people were about to hit her, she would just hit her second jump and do a little backflip and then fling the ball into the net.
Oh, yeah.
Like it was nothing.
Legit.
Yeah. I had a couple really cool moves. But anyways, Rocket League, I'm like a fully back in.
The good, I can legit delete Fortnite after I put it on my Switch. I can just go back to being a Rocket League guy.
Nah, we're not there yet.
I beat the Pokemon story.
We're
I
not
beat
there
Battlefront.
yet.
I'm ready to be.
Because I gifted you something on Fortnite.
You gifted. That's the reason I had to sync my 2 accounts up. So I had one, the Deadite Night Fortnite name.
And I was waiting for you to do that because now that they're synced, I can do something else. I'm not going to tell you until I do it.
I have an emote where I throw a frisbee around
with some wild music. It's totally you.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't even play the game anymore. Now when it's like we gotta like fight these guys, he just plays frisbee. But it's totally worth it. Miggy,
I was gonna die anyway.
We haven't forgot about you. Gaming moment of the week. Okay, if you're gonna yawn, then we're gonna move on.
No,
I played Candy Crush.
Oh, come on.
You know?
Come on.
But no, seriously, this weekend, Saturday, had a lot of fun streaming some games. I was playing. I dusted off PUBG. I've never played it before.
Then how did you dust it off?
Because it's an old game, so I had to dust it off regardless. It's
like a fart sound or like a throw up sound.
Yeah, please.
Well, I can manually do a throw up sound. Like, Ooh. If I dumped my beer out on the table, it would have sounded real good.
Yeah.
It's your PUBG fart.
So yeah, every time, So I was playing. I think I played. Don't die.
That way, you idiot. That way. Cough that way.
Yeah.
So playing PUBG, it was rough. I mean,
man,
super.
I was watching you. I'm like, this doesn't look any better.
Yeah, blue hole, more like butthole, right?
I played it. I played it for all of 45 minutes, and one of the guys.
I couldn't believe you played it that long.
You played PUBG for 45 minutes.
I was trying to give it a try. I was trying to give it a chance. I was giving it a chance.
Sasha and I are watching, and every time he die in the round and say, what did you think of? Was this fun? And literally say, "Was this fun?" And it would give you a sad face and a like indifferent face and a happy face. And every Sasha and myself and anybody else in the chat would literally say, "Bad, sad face." Every viewer he had was literally like, "Why are you playing this game?"
So yeah, that brings up my next point. One of the guys that was in our chat, Blue. Who's been there, through everything. He hates PUBG, hates Rocket League.
He hates everything.
Everything that we do. But he's
hates
there.
Rocket League, ban him.
But he's there. He's always there. He's active in the chat. He's there. He's supporting us. So he was like, man, this game sucks. Play GTA 5. I'm like, no. You know what? Yes, because you're here all the time. I told him, hang on a second. I had to hook up my PS4 back again. And I popped in
you're my boy, Blue.
I popped in GTA, and it was rough for like a split second because I forgot all the controls, but it was a lot of fun. I had fun playing the game. Blue was enjoying my struggle, as everyone enjoys me when I struggle. But I had a lot of fun. I think I played it longer than I had intended.
Mickey, I'm going to be the first one to tell you I do not enjoy while you struggle. Generally, it creates anxiety and stress for me, and I get really, really worried.
Driving motorcycles through oils and being chased by weird demon dolphins.
That's one example. I could give you many, but we're just going to go with it.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed it. Appreciate. Picked up. I got a raid this Saturday and picked up a bunch of followers. So it was really cool to interact with the community, and apparently I have a likable face, I discovered. So
oh man, we didn't get into the fact that we're not going to give the individual's name out. How about that? Okay, there was an individual that joined us in Rocket League that may or may not have been very intoxicated and really spilled his love for Miggy. I mean, like, to the point where I was like, well, I might need to cut the stream here soon.
Man.
No, it was a really good time.
All right, you got me. I was in the Rocket League stream. I acted like I wasn't, but I was there.
They did apologize, by the way, and I said, no, it's all good. We had a really good time.
Wait a minute, so they didn't mean that?
I think they meant it, but they apologized that they were like, I mean, at some point they were literally screaming. I mean, they were screaming.
That's the only volume I have.
They were screaming obscenities into the microphone.
They were.
So I believe like that was what they were more or less apologizing about. Not the fact that they disclosed their true love for Player One Mickey.
It's been very uncomfortable being around you today.
It was a really good time.
You know how I feel.
It was a really good time, and it is really good to see Mickey's stream starting to take off, and he's starting to see that magic that I've been talking about on Mixer. How we have a community now that's jumping through all of us, right? If Mickey's on, then they're hanging out over there. If I jump on, then they jump over. It's just it's a group that's really supporting all of us, and that's super cool.
And I think that's the thing that helps. We didn't make this transition on our own. We stuck together and we're supporting each other.
Yeah.
And the community is seeing that, and they jump. That's why they're comfortable jumping between all of us.
Until Owl makes it big and then just bails on us all, because we know that's what's going to happen.
Parliament.
He's the one. He's the one that's going to bail. He's the Justin Timberlake.
You guys didn't even know, like, Loki, I have a secret identity on Mixer, and I have 900 followers.
Good for you. That's not bad.
The whole stream, I
like how you picked 900 followers. Like, you could have gone for the moon, but you just went 900.
Because I'm not lying. I'm telling you how many I have. Because what the stream is, it's a static image of you, and I pretend to be you.
Oh. Yeah. When you say you, do you mean Mickey?
Grim. I mean Grim.
Because Mickey's the one that everyone seems to gravitate towards, that welcoming, beautiful.
I guess his identity will be the one I steal next.
Yeah, that'll probably double your numbers. Anyway. And the coughing begins.
Don't you dial me, God don't want you yet.
Cougher.
All right, well, that's been our... Are you done, Mickey? Did you have anything else you wanted to share?
No, that was it.
I think there's one thing you want to share. Why don't you give a shout-out to who rated you?
Who rated? Oh, yeah. Big shout-out to my boy Toxic.
Toxic gamer, but you're not toxic at all.
No, he's not. He's actually really cool. And matter of fact, we got to squad up and get some gaming in. But yeah, he's been really cool. One of the ones that just super supportive.
Yep. So, anytime something like that happens, I think a shout out is warranted. So, all right, that's been our gaming moments of the week. We always like to hear about what's going on with you guys, and we do that in the Discord. So join the Discord today. If you're live on Mixer watching us, mixer.com/GameZilla Media, then the link is popping up in the chat probably right now if Mickey's doing his job. And if you're not...
Now is the time to join the Discord, because as I am on death's door from this cold,
God.
I will choose one honorable member of our Discord to assume my identity and become the new Deadite. There must always be a Deadite knight. I will knight you in my army. As you will take upon my dark throne after I have passed on from this cold.
I like it. Well, I mean, not you passing on, but the idea that there will always be a Deadite.
My horrible spirit will live on.
Deadite Gen 2. I like it. All right. Anyways. We always want to hear it, so join the Discord. Talk with gamers from around the world every day. It's free. It's fun. So, yeah. Let's do it. I mean, hell, I even saw. Did you see who joined the Discord today?
Connor.
Connor
I was hyped.
from CS Mott's Children's Hospital, and Miggy. Did you see?
No, I didn't.
Blue may have joined the Discord.
What's Blue?
I know.
Oh, yeah.
The guy that said, I hate Discord, I'll never join Discord, may or may not have become a Discord member.
That's what's up.
He'll probably leave. It's probably just a troll, but still, he's there right now. And you can tag him.
That's so cool.
Yeah, anyways. So, all right. This has been episode 290. We are 10 away from 300. We got some planning to do.
That's true.
We got some planning to do. But if you enjoyed this podcast,
I won't be alive for it.
So if you enjoyed this podcast, make sure to check out everything else that we are doing. I don't think we really need to get into it all. We just need to say, go to GameZillaMedia.com. There are many podcasts, much more content. You just need to go and check it out.
Be a friend. Go to our website.
Check it
out. It's our own website.
I fucking built it.
Be our friend. Go to our website.
So if you think it's bad, it's because I built it. If you think it's good, then cool, I built it.
If you think it's good, prop him up by convincing him that I built it.
No, if you think it's good and you want more, that's why you go to patreon.com and you become a patron and you get that extra content, the extra little just snack.
Coming soon, the $10 patron level where you get a little sprinkle of my ashes after I'm cremated.
Oh my God! You better be careful. People are gonna actually up their patronage, and you're gonna have to live up to that.
Goes perfect
I'll be
with
like,
game.
"Hey, Elle, I got a weird situation here. You see, before that I passed, he actually promised his ashes to a bunch of people on Patreon.
Well, I don't want to be cremated, so that's likely never gonna.
We're gonna just need to burn one of his arms off.
Craig WK is right. $10 a month. That is a bargain,
That's a bargain.
For human remains.
Craig, we expect you to be the first one there then tonight. Lock it in tonight, and maybe we'll even give you part of his soul. All right, everybody,
I didn't agree to that.
Episode 300 of the GameZilla podcast. Thank you so much for hanging
This
out.
is 290.
What did I say? 300?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, I'm jumping 10 forward. I'm just there, man. I'm there.
Trying to make sure you're alive.
Episode
to see 300.
3562 of the GameZilla podcast. No, it's 290. Thanks for hanging out. We appreciate it. Remember, we are your elite free DLC for all your gaming news. And until next time, game on.
Yeet.
Game on.
Yeet.
Yeah, there's a story behind that.
Oh, jeez.